See, I got me a little problem. When you come home at night, I got another woman who wants to treat this daddy right. Go ahead on, baby. Go on, do what you got to do.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? We're listening to the sounds of Johnny Fink for a minute.
Cause I got me a sweet young thing. I got the new girl blues. She wants to hold my hand. She wants to scratch my back. She loves me all night long. Till I have a heart attack. Go ahead on.
All right, welcome to the program. Top 5 Tuesday today. What's going on, Mr. Rob Paisley? Thanks for checking in. My good buddy, Seven West. Man, I haven't seen you in so long. We got to hang out soon, brother. We do. Quentin Fife in the house from Ladder. Seven West from Six String Hustle. Jeff Spencer in the house. Jay Clark, the Jay Clark Band, has joined us today. It's going to be a good topic today for musicians. It is. Absolutely, Seven. Sometimes when you're not playing every minute of your life, boy, you're busy. You are. Well, you were just listening to the sounds of Johnny Fink. Johnny Fink will be playing with the Four Aces. We'll be doing it at Lori's Roadhouse on February 20th for Autism Rocks. You want to join us for that? See some good things going on there. There's Marcy from Mr. Burroughs. They're putting a new floor in this week, so no trivia tonight. But I look forward to seeing that beautiful new floor. It's getting put in there at the wonderful Mr. Burroughs Tavern. Got some stuff upcoming to talk about from them, too. I'm a huge fundraising event, charity event they're putting on. It's going to have some top name musicians and all that. So stay tuned for that as we bring you those things. And you never know what might be happening there in the borough at Mr. Burroughs Tavern. So we'll bring you up to speed on that real soon. Hello, Heather Armstrong. Thank you for dropping by. Hollywood, always good to catch up with you today, my friend. Good to see you. And thanks for dropping in here. Pullman Lane and Scott's Bar and Grill down in Hamilton, Ohio. Bobby Sherman, thank you for the welcome back from Florida. Man, it's cold here compared to there. Trust me. It was in the 80s there, so I strongly suggest anybody that gets tired of the cold, just head to South. Good place to be. It is. Hi, Donna. Thank you for dropping by. Chris Reese in the house from the Dat Band. Crescendo is with us today. How are you doing? He plays in a lot of bands, including you can catch him with Top Secret occasionally. So good stuff there. Hi, Rick Ambergy. Hi, Jimmy Kilroy. Jim Clumps, thank you for being here. Good to have you with us. And yeah, it's a heat wave now in Ohio, isn't it? It is. It's a heat wave. So we've got a great topic today. I want to get right to it. And because this is something a little different. Normally we bring you like, who are the best female singers of all time? And that's our top 5 Tuesday. But there's been a whole lot. Dustin, your stuff went in the mail today, buddy. Your tickets for Autism Rocks that you won on the show last week. Just want you to know that. So look for that in the next week or so, depending on how that mail works to your house. Hi, Doug Hunt. Thank you for being here. Hi, Gary. Yes. Sound is breaking up. Is anybody else hearing the sound breaking up? If it is, please tell me if you're hearing that. And yes, Scotty Long, doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well also. All right. What we got here? Crescendo's at Holy Grounds this Thursday in his own show. So if anybody wants to check that, is that Holy? WHOLLY? Is that how they say it? All right. Throw in there where that's at so people will know, because I'm not sure either. All right. Thank you, Dustin. Yes, sound is breaking up. Okay, that's interesting. So let me see. Let me make sure we've got the the studio is working the right way here. Let me get to my microphone settings, and we will check on it. Yeah, it looks like we are okay. Everything looks set. I'm seeing good audio going out, so I don't know what's happening. Hopefully, you're hearing me. If you're not, I'm sorry. Yeah, breaking up a bit like a bad connection on a cell phone. Interesting. Let me turn that off and see if that helps. Now, does that help at all? Sounds like I have a frog in my throat. Wow. Now it's fine, Scotty says. Sounds good. It's better now. Well, I had the Bluetooth up, so maybe it was catching the phone somehow. I don't know. I don't know. You never know. You never really know with the Book of Face. Sounding clear. All right, good. Thank you. Well, we'll get started then. I'll keep banging the microphone around here, and maybe that'll make all kinds of noise. Yes, but that's hopefully loud and clear. Let's get her started though. We want to talk today about we've got a good topic and some things floating around the internet, not just local musicians but across the country about how to promote your shows if you're a band that's playing locally. And I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about today. And if anyone wants to call in, I'll throw the call in thing up in a little bit. You can call in and chat if you want or mention some things. But there are some people who do a really superb job of promoting their shows, and other people who, not so good. And this is bands and venues. So we're going to talk about some ways today, hopefully, to help improve the people coming to your shows, because what I'm seeing is a lot of venues, especially since the COVID stuff, and we've been back to going to venues, that people have been saying things about, it's the band's responsibility to bring the people. We're giving you the venue and we're paying you and blah, blah, blah. I get that, but I think it's a very big two-way street. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm probably going to offend some people with some things I say, but that's just the way it's going to be. I hope you're all still friends at the end, but it's, publicity is a tough business. And if you deal with Facebook, and some of the folks on here that are here today deal with Facebook a lot, and I'm saying Facebook, not the Book of Face, which I try to confuse their computer occasionally. But it's a tough business. It's like it's kind of like the ecosystem out there. It's a balance, and there's a lot of obstacles in the way, especially when they change the Book of Face routinely change it just when you learn it. And just when you learn how to play their algorithm changes. And that to me is really offensive. And that's one thing that, I don't have time every day to sit and be a Facebook student. And I think most of you think the same way, that we get it down and then they change it. And one of the things that's been really tough, and I'll just use it and we'll get into it more in a minute, but you do a Facebook event and you pop an event up there, and you can make someone a co-host if you're unfamiliar with the event system on Facebook. And you can make someone a co-host, especially the venue. Well, it used to be, as a venue or anybody else that gets made a co-host, they get a notification in their inbox or their messages and this and that, and say someone wants to include you as a co-host in their event, then you could go accept it. It doesn't do that now. Now you have to go out in search of these things and actually go look for the event. So what I've started doing is anybody I tag in an event, I send them a message and say, look, I made you a co-host of the event just so you're aware, and then they can go look for it. That's just one of the minuscule little things. I'll try to get this out of my face here. Says Gary says it's breaking up again. I don't know. I have no idea. Right. Sound is acting up again. Well, I hate to pull the plug on it today, but I don't know. I'm hearing it fine in my ears, so coming out of the board is fine. So it's obviously going to However, we're crossing over in the Book of Face or the stream here. So let me see if I have anything else on I need to turn off, and we will check it out. I don't think so. Let me, I'm going to try something here, gang, real quick, and we're going to put the phone into airplane mode and let me know if it makes it any better. And we'll just see. My internet connection says it's strong. Make sure in there. We'll see. We'll see. Scotty Long says something isn't working 100%. Well, I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't. Yes, airplane mode. That'll just shut the cellular off on the phone for a minute, and we'll go from there. And yeah, I'm all plugged in. Is it annoying enough that we can't do this? If it is, we'll just call it quits because I'm not going to screw with it for an hour and sit here and tell you what's going on. So if it's that annoying, let me know, people. We'll pull the plug on it. We will. I do have a gate on my mic, Tom. I do, and maybe the gate is causing the problem. So let me play with that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let's try the noise gate. Turn the threshold down a little bit on that. I hear it popping now in my ear. Yeah, that's weird. Let's just disable the gate for the time being, and see what we can do there. Maybe that'll help. Yeah. We'll see if that works. I took the noise gate out, and we'll go from there. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? How about the compressor too? Let's disable the compressor. There we go. Is that any better? Sounds better. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go with it. So we were talking about it being tough for promotions, and one of the things that we want to chat about is that the relationship between artist and the venue. And that seems to be one of the biggest stumbling blocks here. So what I want to know is, if you're an artist out there, you're somebody that plays music, I'd love to know your tricks for promoting your show and a little bit of how you target market. And if anybody wants to comment, they can. If anybody wants to call in, I'd certainly entertain that as well. To call in, I can put a phone number up. If you write call in, I'll put a number up for you, and we'll go from there. All right. So thank you for the comments, guys, on the sound. I'm working on it here. Looks like maybe the noise gate was giving me a little fit there, and I don't know. So I'm gonna try to give you some good sound. Everybody's saying it's perfect now. So it might have been the noise gate. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. It's got a cloud lifter in line. It's got a gate. And I'm hearing it tippy tap a little bit in my ear now, and I think that's what it was. I'm hearing that click. But we'll get through it here. All right. So the strategy and partnership between the venue and the artist should be kind of symbiotic, I would think. But what I believe is what I believe. I'm reading your comments, Chris Reese. Thanks. Kind of what I believe in the whole thing is it's the artist and the venue. It should be like the peanut butter to your jelly type thing, or the cookies to your milk. Should I use some other analogies? The Sunny to your share, all those things that should bring you together. And despite the obviousness, the bands and venues often have to urge each other to promote each other's shows. And I know Glenn is on here. He's a strong hater of the Book of Face. He's on our YouTube channel. And he does that for various reasons we won't get into. But I was talking to my good buddy Hollywood today, and we were chatting about Facebook and YouTube. And there's just not a market for what we're doing here at All Around Town Radio to support live local music. There's not a huge market out there on YouTube. YouTube's a different animal. It is. And I know everybody will say, oh, Joe Rogan. Well, Joe Rogan's an exception to the rule. All right. He got started and he became a sensation on YouTube, and I get it. And if I pushed YouTube hard we could probably get some more followers. We mention it all the time, but we don't really, push it to the limit. And I don't offer any extra content on the YouTube channel or any of that kind of stuff that some people do. Now I am throwing up here some of your comments, guys, as we go. And Quentin says Facebook Messenger events, share the hell out of them. Yeah, and we'll get into that. I've got kind of a list today, a top 5 list of things that I would recommend you do if you were a band. But I am no expert by any way, shape, or form. Going to throw posters up. The old days were we all threw up posters on the wall. You went out and you had a handful of posters printed, and you had your street team who went out there and they did their thing. And that's kind of where it was. And Scotty Long giving away our trade secrets there, and mixed with TikTok and Facebook. And I haven't even touched TikTok yet. And everybody keeps telling me, oh, you got to be TikTok. I think TikTok's going to be a flash in the pan. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know the kids are all on it. So I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Should I be doing something on TikTok? I don't know. And I'm not looking for me today. I'm looking more for the musician and the musical artist who's trying to promote their show. And that's what we're talking about today. So I'm looking for you guys to provide some input for others to share here. If you have a trick or something that works for you, please put it in the comments. And Scotty Long saying it should work 50-50. It should be a 50-50 partnership all the time, I think, between the bands and the venues. Because if a venue relies only on the band to bring people, then it's going to fail. Because the venue has to have a following too. There has to be people that are regulars who come in there and support them on the nights they don't have bands and things like that. And that's just Scott's opinion. Like I said, I'll be making people mad, I'm sure. Let's see what Glenn has to say. The ways he gets infos on shows, bands in town, and I'll mention that in a minute, artist band webpage, venue webpage. Does anybody really, how many people out there think that people are even looking at websites anymore? Because all I hear from all the social media experts and people that I know, they're like, your webpage is not that important anymore. It's your social interaction on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And that's a shame because you spend a lot of money and time building a website. But, and I know there are some venues when I go and talk to them and we try to get them involved and they send us stuff. If I don't get anything sent from them on Thursdays when we do our show, I'll go to their website because that's the only place I can find anything. You can't find it on their Facebook page and things like that. So I do occasionally visit a website, but somebody tell me what you think about websites too. We want to know that. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to get to all the comments. This is a good topic today. It's going to be difficult. I am going to ask for call-ins in just a minute if anybody wants to share if somebody's a musical artist and wants to share their promotional ideas, I'd love to have it. Now, not every venue is going to be the same. We all know that. Donna says flyers on bulletin boards. Yeah, I mean, that's old school stuff, but it works. People see it. We were just down in Florida. There's a lot of bulletin boards at these places with flyers on them for upcoming events because they are a walk-in type of business. And maybe the people that are visiting, that are tourists, don't even know they have a page. So that's something there. And Jim says flyers under the windshield wiper. Those are old school days. Don't do it now. Those flyers will freeze to the 3 inches of ice that's in there. Yes. Yes. Bob's Country Bunker. We like both kinds of music, country and music. So I like what Glenn has to say there. It's very difficult to get information about shows for him, and it is. And we want to run down some things. I'll get to the meat of this in just a minute as we're talking here because we're already 20 minutes in and we haven't said much. I'm reading all your comments. And some people do a great job. They do. Some venues do a great job. I have got to give a huge shout out to my friend Hollywood from Pullman Lane and Scott's Bar and Grill Family Entertainment Complex down in Hamilton. He is a master. Guys, there are many venues who could learn from him and his promotional abilities. And it takes time and effort. I know he puts a lot of time and effort into it. And that in itself is difficult, because despite the obviousness, bands and venues obviously have to urge each other and their management to promote a show. And when that doesn't happen, very often people get offended. The bands get offended. Oh, they didn't promote my show, so nobody came. Yeah, the band promoted their show, the venue didn't. That kind of stuff happens. But you also have to remember that many of these venues don't have this massive marketing team sitting behind a desk saying, oh, how can we make this show popular or big? Many of these venues, the marketing team is AKA the owner, the manager, the maintenance man, or the or woman, or the chicken wing orderer, the person who's getting food in the kitchen, because that could be all the same person. And venue also assumes oftentimes that the artist team or whatever is handling certain tasks, and often the artist assumes the venue will be handling them, and that's where the miscommunication happens. And word of mouth is a great method of advertising. It is. But how many people are you going to get by word of mouth? I mean, now if, let's say the Rose Music Center, Riverbend announces a big concert, everybody's buzzing about it. They're like, oh my God, Garth Brooks is coming to town, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't happen that often that you're around the water cooler at work and everybody's talking about where we're going to go see live music this week. It just doesn't happen. I'm reading Rick's here. Says Facebook has its strengths, but artists should use anyone's social media channel and rely on that. TikTok and Instagram are a good way to stay in the palm of people's hand. Yeah. YouTube is a bit difficult at times. YouTube's very particular about what you can put on there. So you take an artist who's playing cover songs and they want somebody to hear him, let's say play a Garth Brooks song. It's not going to happen. They're going to flag that most of the time. I'm looking here. Chris Reese throwing in there. Yeah. That is, it's interesting. Chris says he uses social media and all that, and share. And they update the website also. So there you go. And so I'm not seeing anything really, anybody's jumping right out at me with anything on the TikTok side of things. So if you think that's an option, Hollywood says it's a two-way street. It is. And bands, don't get lazy, because if you're lazy, the venues are going to be lazy for you too. If you're not pushing and you're not putting it out there, it's just like today. I've got an event tomorrow at the Bell and the Bear. I messaged the owner, Karis, said, how's the reservations looking? She told me, and so we've got to push that a little harder because we don't have a huge amount of reservations tomorrow night. And normally we do a pretty good job of filling the room. So you got to communicate. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I messaged the venue and they don't get back with me. That's back to that chicken wing ordering thing that they're doing, or any of that other stuff that you have to remember. And Hollywood said it best there. I believe this 100% that a customer will look at Facebook before a website. And I agree with that. I also agree with Jim up there. He says a flyer above a urinal. Well, I'm going to go one further. If you know your lineup in a venue for the entire month, you do what Marcy does at Mr. Burroughs. She has a big giant chalkboard in a women's room. She writes everything on it, who's playing when and all that. But you make a little flyer and you print a handful of them and you put them up in the stalls and above the urinals and anywhere else people go look, above the lottery machine and that kind of stuff. And that's how people know, oh, wow, Kevin McCoy Band's here on the 29th of this month and that kind of stuff. I like those guys. I'm going to come see them. And anybody I use today as an example, I'm just pulling out of my, what. So know that. Let's see, Quentin. Yeah, Quentin, you do push the hell out of your website. It shows, I know. And, Bands in Town is a great one, but not many bands use it. And that, Glenn has said to me before, he said, I only go if they're on Bands in Town, I only go to them. Well, I agree. that's a great way for you to see where they're playing and all that. But we need to get more bands involved in that if a lot of people are using it. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. And I am so far behind in the comments, guys. I'm sorry. This could be an all-day show. It really could. It's Chris saying it's nice to have a regular crowd at a venue. Yeah. And, I'll use the Bell and the Bear as an example. It's one that I'm very familiar with. They have a regular crowd that comes in there that likes live music. And one thing about them is they're not discriminating. They like various styles and genres of live music, and they accept all of it. And I think that's fully due to the open mic jam. They call it an open jam there. But the places that have those kind of things, and if somebody comes in and plays, such as I was there one night when 1330 played, they did 3 songs. People heard them. They're like, wow, I got to come back to their show. That's good marketing. It really is. Dave Worthington says social media is a lot for many people to stay off, and how can we reach them? Good question. So how do you reach the people that don't play on social media? And that's, if they're not on Facebook, Instagram, all that, they're probably not on Bands in Town or anything else. They're probably just those people who just don't pick up a phone to look at everything like many of us do every day. So Chris says website is definitely secondary, and it's cool to have. It is. And I've often thought, I need to update my website, something fierce. It's still got fishing podcasts on it from when I was in Florida and things like that. But, and Gary just said, announce during your shows where you'll play next. That's a slippery slope, because that sometimes is offensive to the venues you're playing in. If you're promoting, hey, tomorrow night we're over here, but they've got a big band tomorrow night they want that crowd to come to, that gets a little bit dicey sometimes. And people, there's not everybody's like Froggies, who sponsors our show that we talk about every venue on and those kind of things. There are some people that get kind of territorial with that. So very interesting. Anybody want to call in and chat? I'd love to have somebody give their opinion on this. And I'm scrolling through, guys. I'm never going to get all the comments popped up. Jamie Anton, who I will say used to do a superb job of booking bands, and that in her former life. And she had a great handle on all of it. She said websites are a bit outdated. Can a band, I would say if I were a band, I'd focus on having a superb Facebook page. I would. And then my Instagram would be nothing more than posting pictures that people provided to us of the band in action and saying where we were and all that. Because Instagram's a scrolling sport. People are just flying through that, looking at pictures. And if you get somebody to stop on something, that's good. We won't even get into today on Facebook stories and those kind of things, because stories drive me crazy, and I could spend a whole day bitching about those, but people do look at that for sure. So, it's interesting. Jamie, that's some great comments. Thank you so much for that. And Rick says, if you hate promotion, look on Fiverr and you can find somebody to help you. Absolutely. There are people who will do that. And Glenn says, as a viewer of live music, I have to spend a lot of time investigating information. Yeah, you do. And it's hard. And certain bands that you follow, I know, do a good job, but some do not. Some do not. And there's some more insight from Hollywood. If you want to call in, guys, call in on there, and I'll take your call. But if you're chicken shit and don't want to call in, that's fine too. But throw it in the comments at least. Yeah, and Hollywood, there's a fine line, don't you think, between being Facebook relevant or spam? Yeah. Johnny Fink says, haven't you ever seen Bar Rescue? 90% of bars that are also venues do nothing more than unlock their door. Thank you, John Taffer. Johnny Fink. No, I agree. Yes. And it is unfortunately in today's world up to the artist to reach their current audience and grow new audiences. Not everybody, like I said, is like Pullman Lanes, who does a superb job of promoting, and that's interesting. Rick needs to start TikTok. Yeah, I TikTok's interesting, man. It is. It's very interesting. Marcy, we're talking about. Hi, Kevin McCoy. Thank you. And yes, and for those of you who do submit your shows to me, I hope we're doing a little bit of a service. And the printed edition that goes out as well. Hopefully that's doing a little service. I realize we don't reach. I've got 5,900 and some followers on this page alone, and I can put something up and get 2 likes. And and when you look at the engagement on a post, people don't even get it sent to them. They're not even seeing it unless they subscribe and they do all the things that the hoops they have to jump through. It's a very difficult slope there to be with. And Marcy, yeah, we're talking about venues versus musician responsibility. We've touched on this before. We're really getting into it heavy today, but responsibility of promoting their gigs. And it's kind of a tough one. Chris says Average Joe isn't a customer on Bands in Town. I agree with that 100% as well. Not everybody's like Glenn. And one reason Glenn's on Bands in Town, I think, is because he's not on the Book of Face, because you get inundated on Facebook. If you go to events of people you know or bands you follow, and all, there's hundreds of them on there a week. It's pretty crazy. Carrie says bad connection again. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's causing it, but it's just happening today. Gosh, guys, there's so many comments. Hi, Liam. My grandson Liam on here, live at 5. Thank you, Liam. When they lived in Alaska, it was live at 1. It was. All right, I've got to scroll down to some things. I want to get to some things, though. And I want to talk about, first of all, one of the most important things to promote your show is be strategic with your scheduling. I think that's a huge one for me. And Chris says he won't even talk about upcoming shows unless the show is at the same venue. I agree. I agree 100% on that one as well, because that does, if you're promoting another bar and this and that, and I always clear it with them, it's like I do specialty things. I do trivia and that kind of stuff. So really doesn't compete because the bar is not going to have another trivia night, but you also don't want to distract from the people who are feeding you, and what do we got here? I'm reading Charles's comment. Most don't get a backing like, is that Laurie's Roadhouse and B105? Yeah, that's paid advertising probably, I would assume. That they're getting commercial time for that and talked about. But when I said be strategic with your scheduling, unless the venue explicitly says you don't need to promote your show, you have a better shot at getting folks in the door if you're smart about how often you play there as well. That's probably the number one. If you wear yourself out, I don't care who you are and how good you are. If you play 5 days a week in the same bar, or even if you're there a couple times a week, it's going to affect the crowd that comes to see you. And they're going to look for other options. And that's just, I'm throwing it out there. If it offends anybody, I'm sorry, And yeah, Glenn says get your shows out there early because his schedule is covered for the next 2 months on the weekends. Well, you're an overachiever, Glenn. You are. You are an overachiever. Most people are deciding when they're going to go see music on Thursday night for Friday night, and Saturday, the same way. And Chris said you want to respect the band that's following. Absolutely. So make your show an event, guys. That's something too I wanted to pump out there to everybody. Make your show an event. Make it something like Johnny Fink did his single release or his CD release party. That's an event, and you can pump it up even harder because it's an event. And you have to give people a reason to come see you. Please remember that there has to be a reason to come see you, whether it's a charity fundraiser and you're pumping it up, or you're pumping come hear my new cut tonight. I'm going to feature my new song like Kevin McCoy does, and all those kind of things. Yeah. It is so important. And when I say post it everywhere, I mean post it everywhere. Many times people move past things, it gets overlooked. Get your shows on Bands in Town, Artist Data, any of those places. You can post it. Make it a routine to post your shows on any of those, and then step up your social media game, man. I can't stress that enough. And you see, I'm on a fine line. If I do more than 3 posts a day, I get considered spam. And I think bands do too. So you have to really be careful with what you're promoting. And you know, I know, Marcy, you made a big comment here. I'm going to post up there in just a minute. You know, it's interesting because you can over promote over things you just posted that you want to stay on your page and stay relevant. Now you can pin it to the top. You can do all that stuff. I know, but don't get overzealous with your promotions as well. Nobody's going to pay attention to it if it's been on your page 5 times that day already, and it says the same thing just with a different picture or something. And Charles says, on the flip side, don't ever think someone or someplace will promote you. That's actually your responsibility, and it is. It's your responsibility to do it. Marcy, what do you have to say here? She said, our shows are almost always packed. I contribute those to the bands, the promotions, tagging musicians, posting pictures, and reposting pics of their shows. Absolutely. You do a great job of it. And like I said, the chalkboard in the bathroom with the schedules, that's genius. We mentioned it earlier, Marcy, that, you know, that's where people gather. And we were talking about flyers for events over the Kino machine or wherever people walk up and can visualize that. And one thing Hollywood does at his place is he runs it through the TV system. And man, he's got several of those big screen TVs that are doing nothing but scrolling advertising. And it's really cool to see the bands pop up there coming soon next week, this and that. It's with smart TVs now, it is not that difficult to pull that off. So that's where I'm at with that. Rick saying release a song on Spotify every Friday. Easier said than done, but yes, another way to spread the word. And yeah. And Marcy, sometime you need to come down with me. We'll run down to Pullman Lanes and see the genius of Mr. Hollywood down there and what he's doing, because you walk in the door of that venue, it hits you right in the face with who's playing and all the advertising about their events, different nights they have, this and that. It's very, very easy to do, especially with a few smart TVs, and do it on a computer in no time. So that's just one. And I know many venues around the area are doing that, and they're starting to really pick up for it. And we'll have to do that, Marcy. We'll run down there one day if you got a free moment, and we'll chat about the other event while we go. So when I talked about stepping up your social media game, and we got to get out of here, we're running way long, but this is probably something we'll have to do in a 2-parter. Want to make sure you know that on social media, there's no such thing as too much lead time when it comes to social media. But remember, you can't just make an event for something going to go on in 2 months and then not repost it again. That's where people make mistakes. Also, get very creative on your social media if you're a musician. Clips of you playing tunes, band rehearsals are always fun. Show the behind the scenes stuff. That's what we like to do when we do Wednesday with the band. And it makes it all kind of an easily digestible thing for the band. People go to your page to see what you're doing next. And it's really good. Yeah, that's a perfect one, Kara. Perfect example. Heather's Facebook Lives announcing who's playing at her place. And they're funny, they're creative, and that's always good stuff. And it doesn't have to be a 20-minute show. It can be a 5-minute, 3-minute little video clip of saying, hey, hi from Heather's today. Here's who's playing this weekend. And Quentin's going to call in next time. All right. Well, I hope so. We'd love to have you do that. And yeah. And I won't get into boosting because I think that's a scam and a half Facebook's got going, but because they can give you any type of analytics that come back. Now, I agree. Boosting will target market to people That's the good thing about it. But spending that kind of money sometimes is interesting. And who's getting rich off that one? Not the venues and not the musicians. So basically, if you have the budget to pay for advertising, it's a great reach. Facebook's a great reach. It is. And Facebook Live, a 20-second day of the show. That's good. That's always good. And Mike's saying $20. Yeah, $20. And if you've got the budget to do it, I can tell you that I've done it before. I've tried it. It wasn't good for me, but it may be good for a band. I don't want to speak poorly of anything anybody's doing, because that's what we're looking for today. Gary says Kara's posts are funny little sayings on the chalkboard, and it tells who's playing on every one of them. Genius. It is. Also, distribute your mugshot, man. Put your picture out there. Let people see it. If you're playing, get people to take pictures. Everybody in the audience got a camera phone. Get them to take good pictures and send them to you. Give them photo credit on your page. That'll make them feel good about it too. But plaster your face out there. People need to know who you are. I know bands that I couldn't tell you half the people in that I announce on my show because never met them. And when I'm at a show, they never add a personal touch. And a personal touch meaning getting out there and meeting the audience. When I know you want a break, you're like, oh, I need a break. They go out and smoke, whatever they want to do. But add a personal touch. Get around, see the people that are there to see you. Thank them for coming to see you. Hugely important. And put in some FaceTime at the venue you're going to play. If you're not playing every night, maybe go out on a Friday night, visit the venue. I mean, Hollywood, he's running a venue, but yet he goes and visits other people who play at his venue to support them at other places. So that's another great example. And remember, an email list is still there. People think emails are old and antiquated. If you can gather an email list, have a contest on your page, gather emails, whatever you want to do. If you can gather an email list, and there's many different little programs out there where you can capture email lists and get them involved in your fanatics group or whatever you want to call it, then you can target market to the people who love your band. And, Gary said, absolutely mingle with the crowd. You got to do that. You got to do that. And lastly, I want to touch on, then I'm out of here today. Respect the house you're in. Respect the venue you're in. All right. Set a good example. Be on time. Come back from breaks on time. And be cool at the venue. Respect their rules. Don't burn bridges. If the show goes well, you'll be invited back. And that's probably one of the most important things with a band venue relationship. But we're here to talk about how to promote your shows today. So, create engaging video content, connect with your fans at shows, host a live streaming event. It's good stuff. Put efforts into getting rotated at a venue in every couple months, and make and sell some branded merch. People wear it. They'll wear it. And share everything you do far and wide, man, anytime you can, and pitch it to anybody you can, and people will come out. So that's just some advice from a guy who's been around the music business a little bit, and a lot of your advice out there. Hollywood says, wear band merchandise. Thank you, Eric, from the Kevin McCoy Band. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Hollywood. We're going to touch on this a lot more. We're going to have to do another one of these soon, because I didn't even get midway through what we wanted to talk about. And I want some people to call in next time. I want to have dialogue with some people from their experiences. And Hollywood, that might be good for you to call in. And I want some musicians to call in. Marcy, maybe you could do that as well if you're still out there. We'd love to hear from the venue owners and also from the folks who are out there beating feet to get people to their shows. And that's highly important. And, Glenn just said lanyards, and I'll mention something. Ran into a little sticky wicket with a shirt, and wearing a shirt that wasn't something, that was approved by the band, and one of the band members got a little dicey about it and all that. So you got to be careful with some of that too. But why anybody would ever get upset about somebody wearing their name on their shirt and trying to promote them, unless you were doing something stupid and getting arrested, they shouldn't. But it does happen. So be a little careful about unauthorized merchandise, I guess, if you want to call it. That's what they called it. And Heath Bowling is not banned from calling in. You are not. But if you just joined us, Heath, this was a whole topic. And I think you may have the other day had something to say about this as well, where we were talking about band venue responsibilities and those who promote each other and who, basically co-hosting events and things. I'm still a firm believer that right now, unfortunately, the Book of Face is the only way to reach masses. You can do your TikToks, you can do your YouTubes, you can do all that stuff, and that all helps. But the biggest mass audience we have out there right now for social media is the Book of Face. And that's how that looks. So thank you for tuning in, guys. We're going to wrap this up. It's been going on 46 minutes, way too long. Everybody's checking out. They're done. But Kevin says, Kevin McCoy, promotion only gets you so far. Playing live and killing it and investing in others will take you above the rest. Amen to that, my friend. You got to get them in the seats. And once they're in the seats, it's your responsibility as a band or artist to wow them and make them want to come back and see you again, whether that's your personality, your talent, whatever it is. I've seen a lot of people play who had, as the term gets joked about, mediocre skills, but yet they were so personable that people come back to see them every single time. We're going to end it with that today, guys. I'll leave you with Johnny Fink again. Let's bring Johnny back into the mix today. This one's called New Girl. We'll see you next time at All Around Town Radio tomorrow, Wednesday, with the band. Join us then.
See, I got me a little problem. When you come home at night, I got another woman who wants to treat this daddy right. Go ahead on, baby. Go on, do what you got to do. Cause I got me a sweet young thing. I got the new girl blues. She wants to hold my hand. She wants to scratch my back. She loves me all night long, till I have a heart attack. Go ahead on, honey, cause my foot's in another shoe. I got me a sweet young thing. I got the new girl